Serenitus is a world at odds with itself. Before its existence, great dragons soared through the spacescape, using the language of Sproke to speak things into existence. Soon, however, these beasts came into conflict with the mass of emotions and thoughts and ideas known only as mist, powerful in its own right. At the end of their big fight, the dragons were trapped in the seas and mist was trapped in the core of a planet, which would become Serenitus. In present day, mist spills out of a massive volcano called Mount Serenity in concentrated flowing rivers, reminiscent of Earth's aurora borealis, which soak up lingering emotion like a sponge. The majority of Serenitus' cultures are made of people whose souls come from the mist and will return to the mist upon death. These people are capable of pulling the mist from the sky and channeling it for magic, though in varying amounts. The mist is colored according to the emotion it houses, which implants that emotion in the user, as magical capabilities are related to the infused emotion. One cannot throw fire, for instance, with the mist filled with sadness. There are other ways of interacting with the mist. Those who imbibe instead of channel the emotions seen in mist will become ravenous monsters called mistivores. Mist which is cycled through the ground and comes out through the volcano is cleaned of the consciousness it used to house, turned into pure mist. This pure mist is an overwhelming nothingness that wipes clean the minds of those who come into contact with it without proper training, making them perfect slaves called the serene. Most consciousnesses that reside in the mist are ripped apart into smaller pieces when they re-enter, but some manage to hold themselves together and, through sheer force of will, come back down and possess bodies, preferring the serene as their bodies are easier for the souls to assimilate into, becoming mistwalkers. Other consciousnesses join together, made of a single emotion or concept, and receive a godlike status.
Crystal is a crystalline substance in two different forms that interacts with the mist in two different fashions. Light crystal absorbs mist and allows it to be taken away from the mist sky rivers. Dark crystal repels mist and is used as protection, though both are uncommon. The dragons formed their own, smaller civilization in a northern bay surrounded by mountains. These mountains are laced with dark crystal and help to truly separate the bay from the rest of the world. This part of the world is ordered and based on the language of Sproke, away from the intensity and chaos of the mist. They are almost mythical to the mist peoples, but the mountains cannot keep everything out. This civilization, called the Kustbrores, revered the sea dragons as gods and their language as the true power of the world. Whenever they say a word in Sproke, however, they can never say it again. Because of this, the Kustbrores communicate mostly with telepathy, taught to them by the sea dragons. They are elitist and have little in the way of relationships with other cultures aside from the nomadic mystics.
Directly below the Kustbroi southern mountains, the hordes of the Hundan rove the desert, plundering and pillaging wherever and whenever they can. They know of Sproke, but their knowledge is limited, and they only ever use the mist for ceremonial purposes. Various mafia-esque families control the Dei Farmaci city-states of the western plains with brutal selfishness. The mist over these cities is exceptionally more negatively tainted than the rest of the world. From the eastern plains up to the temperate rainforest in the northeast, there is a loose confederacy of 5 nations, each ruled by a monarchy. The people of this confederacy worship the gods of the mist. Their spiritual leaders are the high monks on Mount Serenity. High monks are those people with a higher capability for mist control, plucked from the countries of the confederacy at birth. They live and train in the pure mist at the top of Mount Serenity, giving them exceptional resistance to the mist taint. They are the most proficient mist users known. The Order of the Four are a group of knights organized in resistance to the mist, believing it to be evil and far too powerful to control. They are led by 4 mistwalkers who return from death in defiance of the homogeneous nature of the afterlife, though human knights are unaware of this. The mystics are a roving band of Romani-esque people who travel all across the continent and have good relationships with most of the other civilizations, including the Kustbrores and excluding the Hundan. They have slight psychic tendencies from exposure to all kinds of magic of the world. The language users and the mist users have lived separately for centuries, but the boundaries are slowly breaking down, and the sides of this impending conflict number many more than 2.